Hello, everybody, and welcome to more Political Access. Today, let's take a look at another deep dive into a U.S. Senate race. This time, let's take a look at Oregon. And I know this is not going to be a competitive race at all. I'm trying to go through some of the less competitive races before October, when I can go into the more juicy ones where there's better polling and it's closer to Election Day. I'm not sure if I'm going to cover every race. I might miss a few. But for today, let's look at this Oregon race, and let's start with a little bit of background and get on Ballotpedia. The incumbent senator there is Ron Wyden, the Democrat. He's been in office since he won a special election in 1996, so this would be his fifth full term if he wins re-election. Prior to the U.S. Senate, he did serve a while in the U.S. House. His first win back in 1996, that special election, it was very close. He won with 48% of the vote. In 1998, he got 61%, then 63 in 2004, 57 in 2010, and last time in 2016, he won again with 57%. So those are pretty wide margins, but his Republican opponent is Jo Rae Perkins. She's been involved in local politics. She's also run previously multiple times for both the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate, all of them unsuccessful. Most recently, 2 years ago, she was the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate. She went up against Jeff Merkley, Oregon's other U.S. Senator. She got 39% of the vote to Merkley's 57%. So let's take a look at their primaries this year. Well, Ron Wyden, the incumbent, he had very minor token opposition. He won with over 90% of the vote. Jo Rae Perkins actually did have a competitive primary. She got it done with 33% of the vote over Darren Harbick with 30.7%. And if you compare raw vote totals, the Democrats had 283,000 votes. Republicans had over 346,000. I don't think it matters. The Democrats were not competitive. The Republicans did turn out still more than the Democrats. But in the November election, it's not really going to matter much. My understanding is Perkins is regarded as too fringe for a state like Oregon. She's not going to fit in well, and she's destined to lose. If you want to know more about her positions, there's some here on Ballotpedia, but you can also go somewhere like here, Vote Smart, click on each of these issues, see if it lists her position, and then you can get a better idea of where she stands. But as I said, Ballotpedia even has questions here for most of the statewide races. Not every candidate answers everything, but if you click on some of these, sometimes you'll actually get to read some of their responses. If we go down here, we could take a look at campaign finance. Perkins has almost nothing. Wyden has some, but I don't think he thinks he really even has to use it or do much campaigning. And that is further corroborated if we go down here and see how the race is rated. All of the sites have it at safe or solid Democratic. My rating is safe Democrat. It will definitely be over a 10-point margin for Ron Wyden. Let's check out the county voting trends on a presidential level. Now, this doesn't tell you everything, but it does indicate that 57.4% of the population lives in 8 counties that are solid Democratic, and Ballotpedia defines that as voting for the Democrat in the last 3 presidential elections. In contrast, only 27.9% live in 24 counties that are solid Republican. And another 12.8% lives in 2 counties that voted for the Democrat most recently back in 2020. So those voted for Romney, then Trump the first time, but switched to Biden. There's also a couple counties trending toward the Republicans. Those voted for Barack Obama, then Donald Trump both times, but there's under 2% of the population living in those counties. So Oregon is one of the bluer states. You can go down here and check out the county map if you want for these presidential voting trends. Most of that population is in and around Portland. That's Multnomah County. That went 79% for Biden. There are some other blue cities, but a lot of the state is red. Most of these counties out east, they went for Trump well over 60 and in some cases 70%. There's always some talk of these counties seceding and becoming part of Idaho because that part of the state is just unrecognizable compared to the Portland area. Not many people live in most of these counties, so it is a balancing act. Oregon is just not very competitive statewide. There is a chance this year for the governor's election. It is actually going to be highly competitive. We'll see how that develops over the next several weeks. But other than that, Republicans are basically reduced to losing the vast majority of all other races outside of these deep red counties. Let's quickly get on YouTube and see what they've got on their channels. I believe this is Ron Wyden's main channel. A lot of this just has stuff he's done in the Senate. He's got several other channels, but I couldn't find anything about the current campaign on there. I don't think he's really putting much effort into this race at all, and I don't really see anything on this channel of relevance. If we look at Jo Rae Perkins' channel, she also has several. I think this is her main one. There's very little on here. I know she would like to win. I'm sure she would say she's going to win and she's going to try her hardest, but I'm not seeing it, and I know she's not getting any funding. Ron Wyden would have to retire. There'd have to be an open seat. It'd have to be a red-leading year. Republicans would have to have somebody that's a good fit statewide in order for there to be a competitive U.S. Senate race in Oregon. And as for debates, I could not find anything indicating there will be a debate. That is a shame. I guess Ron Wyden doesn't feel he needs to debate because he's going to win anyway. I get it, but that's a shame. We want to see the debates. We don't care about how much of a lead you have. We could switch over to Wikipedia and take a look at any endorsements. There's not many. Ron Wyden has most of your expected organizations. Jo Rae Perkins has only one. I don't think anybody's really paying attention to this race. And there's actually no polls here on Wikipedia, so there's actually not much to talk about. We can go back to 2016 to compare those polls to the final result. And in that race, Ron Wyden won with just under 57% of the vote. Mark Callahan had a little over 33%. These polls did seem to accurately catch Mark Callahan. Ron Wyden's support was overestimated by several points at least. But with that wide of a margin, it doesn't really matter. You could see the other third parties and independent candidates, they got a decent portion of the vote. And I'm sure that'll happen in this election too, but it's not going to be enough to be a factor for determining the winner. And believe it or not, there actually is a market for this race on Predicted. And there, Ron Wyden, the Democrat, is at 95 cents. Jo Rae Perkins, the Republican, is at 5 cents. So that pretty much sums it up. The margin is not going to be as wide as somewhere like Hawaii, but this one is going to be very safe for the Democrats. So that's an overview of the Oregon Senate race. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you following this race? Did I miss anything at all? Or do you not care about this race in the slightest? And if you enjoy this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.